One of the things that I talk to people in their writing workshops with me about is how important it is to go outside. I mean, even if you are not able to go all the way to Mongolia, it just makes a world of difference to get outside of whatever it is that you spend most of your time doing, out of that physical environment. And even if you take a short walk, everything opens up to you. So travel is definitely an important part of our lives as writers. And I encourage you all to travel wherever you may be able to do that. So I'm very happy about our featured reader. I've been trying to get Los Portenos, which is the Portland's Latino Writers Collective, here for several years, and Cindy Williams Gutierrez is one of the founding members of that group. I'm hoping that she will be like the scout who made it over to Vancouver, who goes back to tell the other writers from Los Portenos that this is a cool place to come and read your poetry, and that we will hear from more of them in the future. So in 2014, she was selected by Poets and Writers magazine as one of the top 10 debut poets for that year. She's also a dramatist. Her poetry collection, The Small Claim of Bones, was published by Arizona State University's Bilingual Press. Poems and reviews have appeared in Borderlands, Calyx, Harvard's Journal of Feminist Studies and Religion. And I know how difficult it is with bios, and most people don't want you to read the whole thing, so I'm going to check this out and see if we can jump ahead. Yeah, I would just like to really, there's a lot of things that are going on. I'm also hoping that she will tell us a little bit about the organization, and we're just really proud and happy to have her here. And please welcome Cindy Williams Gutierrez. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you for welcoming me into your community. I can feel that I am in a poetry community. And I would like to invite you to journey with me to another community, a civilization in 15th century Mexico, Tenochtitlan, where the Nahuas, 7 tribes of the Central Valley of Mexico, thrived prior to the Spanish conquest. Their language was and continues to be Nahuatl, which means clear speech. I became fascinated with their poetry when I discovered that they refer to poetry as flower and song. The most beautiful sight, the most beautiful scent together is what they call poetry. The Nahuas believed that poetry is the way to a pure heart, an emerald heart. Want to move it a little bit?
Just like the see your door come. Okay, your head down there.
That's good. Great. If I were a Nahua poet, make my body a Quikoyan, this house of song. Garland my bones with those who have gone before, Koli, and the ones who have gone before them, Koli. Return, return. Let the sweet wind be their breath on my shoulder, their tug on my tunic. Let my voice join the ancients to swell the sky with 1,000 plumes of light, Ewa. And when the moon moves between sun and earth, let us remember to beat our deerskin drums and dance, to pound our bare feet and chests until this holy earth splits in two and volcanoes rise up in song. Only then will this life be worthy? To make the dark earth rumble and our hearts fiercely tremble. Yolwiwiyokas, tremble. Si yo fuera poeta nahua, haz de mi cuerpo un cuicoya, esta casa de canto. Engalana mis huesos con los antepasados, Coli, y los que pasaron antes que ellos, Coli. Regresa, retorna, que el viento dulce sea su aliento sobre mi hombro, que jale mi túnica, que mi voz se una con la voz de los antiguos para inflamar el cielo, 400 plumas de luz. Ewa. Y cuando se mueva la luna entre el sol y la tierra, que recordemos batir nuestro huehuet y danzar, percutir nuestros pies y pecho desnudos hasta que esta tierra sagrada se divida en dos y los volcanes surjan al canto. Solo así esta vida será cual jade, para hacer vibrar la tierra oscura y que el corazón salvajemente tiemble. Yolwiwiyocas, tiemble. Some people have asked me if some of the Nahua-inspired poems in this collection are translations. I studied the translations. These are reimaginations based on what my immersion into the culture and into the cosmology. And the head of the music department at the University of Texas in Brownsville, who plays pre-Hispanic music, wanted me to write a poem, a song actually, about a lullaby, about a Nahua lullaby. And I couldn't find an existing one, to sort of trigger me or inspire me. So I had to come up with my own. The Nahuas have this beautiful way of creating metaphor. They join two concrete nouns to evoke a third, more abstract idea. Like flower and song is poetry. Word and breath is prayer. Wind and heat is sensual pleasure. And the silk cotton tree and the juniper is protection. Shikochi no konetsin, or lullaby for my little one. Close your eyes, small one, and sleep. Shikochi, konetsi. Let the smoke from Kopal rise to whisper. Shikochi, konetsi. Whisper your name to the giver of life. No konetsi, no konetsi. May his might guard and protect you. Konetsi, konetsi. Like the sturdy silk cotton tree, the tall juniper. Sleep, small one, beneath the eyes of trees. Shikochi, konetsi. Let the juniper, the silk cotton, watch over you. Inawe wind, imbocho. Let their quiet canopies cradle you. Konetsi, konetsi. Let me be this cotton tree, this juniper, imbocho, inawe wind, until you wake to the eagle's first cry. Sleep, small one, beneath the eyes of trees. Shikochi, konetsi. Let the juniper, the silk cotton watch over you. Let their quiet canopies cradle you. Let me be this cotton tree, this juniper, until your eagle wings watch over me. The Nawa songs are written for rites of passage. Song of springtime, song for the dead, song of war, song of women, and song of the ancient ones. This poem is inspired by the journey that the soul takes through the 9 underworlds, according to the Nawa cosmology, after death. Mika Kwikat, or Song for the Dead. Who can say why the earth burns with flowers? It is the time of weeping. We plait our hair and sit on the burning earth. The ash of copal cools our lips. We dress you in garments of flower and song, and cover our eyes with petals of sadness. Alas, you have gone to the land of the fleshless, where we cannot follow. The sky mourns with mountains of smoking stars, and the air weeps with the fragrance of poyomat. The great torches are lit around us, and the serpent tiger begins to speak. On your way to the land of the fleshless, dip your hand and foot in the red and black ink. Take this jug of water and place the jade bead in a safe place in your mouth. May your journey through the underworld be swift as lightning. May banners wave and mountains part. May arrows strike only flesh of obsidian. May you arrive at the river when the yellow dog sleeps in the dark. And when wild beasts draw near, open your mouth wide as a tiger. Offer them your jade bead, so they will not hunger for your heart. So the sweet perfume of your heart will water our songs here on earth, where we will beat our flowery drum each time your song rises on the wings of an eagle. Listen closely. You are not destined for the land of speechlessness and cold. We will plant your flowers in water, and they will stand upright. Your emeralds will be carried in the beak of the Quecholi to the highest heaven, to Omeyocan, where the God above all is seated, waiting for you to return singing and dancing, to return this life you have only borrowed from the giver of life, Ewa. The first section of this book, it's divided into 2 sections, is a call and response between the Nawa-inspired poems and poems for my father. My father was born and raised in Santa Barbara, Chihuahua, at a Mexican mining camp. His father was a Welsh-American miner, and most of the workers were indigenous Mexicans. And he just became saturated with the indigenous cultures and just became fascinated with that. So this is my perhaps song for the dead for him. The other thing to know about him is that he was a bullfight aficionado to the max. He had incredible colecciones taurinas, which is a collection of bullfighting paraphernalia. And the thing to know is that both in Spain and Mexico, if you as a spectator, if all of us were to flutter white handkerchiefs, it would signal to the judge that the bull had performed nobly in the ring. And when my father was little, he loved bullfighting so much, he always wanted to play with his friends, but no one wanted to play the bull, and that's what he played. Ritual for ash. We will smudge our shoulder blades with wings of ash. We will sow your remaining ash in an untilled field. We'll toss red carnations, red dahlias, red hibiscus. We'll release white doves and flutter white handkerchiefs. We'll return to the field where brave bulls roam. We will wait for the grass to catch fire. The second part of the book is call and response between my Mexican matriarchy, my mom and all the aunts and the grandmothers, and Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. Anybody know who Sor Juana is? I know you do by now. Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz was a 17th century poet nun in colonial Mexico when it was called Nueva España, New Spain. And she was the first feminist of the Americas, very important to know. She wrote a feminine manifesto while she was a nun under the church patriarchy. Not easy, not easy. Okay? And she was very, very close to the wife of the governor of New Spain, La Condesa de Paredes, and she wrote love poems to La Condesa, including erotic love poems. And so there's been all this speculation about her sexuality and curiosity about it, and this is my response to that curiosity. Oh, and by the way, Sappho was a 6th century, for those of you who might not be familiar, 6th century Greek poet from the island of Lesbos, and she wrote about her love for women. She was called the 10th Muse, Sor Juana was called the 10th Muse, so there's a connection there. Sor Juana's habit. There is but one who hears my confession, but I dare not leave a secret note in her garden, since roses bloom in her throat. This perfume of Isis is my obsession. My habit hides my indiscretion, until at least I'm all alone, with this quill that echoes Sappho's moan. The fires of hell cannot inflame my body, my soul, to tremble with shame. For immaculate love, I will not atone. And this poem is for the Mexican matriarchy. The term comadre is used a lot in Mexico and Spain. I just love that word. It means co-mother. And so when your mother has really close friends, you know, she refers to them as comadres. And it's a way to bring other people into your family. I just think I wish we had that word in English. A scattering of flocks. I remember my grandmother's bird, Pepe, though not whether he was a parakeet or a canary. Her sister, Theolinda, had cages and cages of canaries. Almost 20 years ago, when I was visiting my grandmother, I kept trying to get her to notice Pepe. I had been talking about her roses, birds and flowers. They were her companions most of her life. My mother sits on the back porch, where her fruit trees are no longer planted. No more peaches, papayas, oranges, or grapefruit. Just a few tart kumquats and a shrub of chile piquin. She is watching a small gray bird in the only tree that's left. It's a baby looking for its mother, she tells me later. My mother and her comadres always talk about their children. They can't help boasting. They are mothers, and they are old. My 90-year-old grandmother wouldn't look at Pepe or the roses outside her window. She died before my next visit. My mother and her comadres are a flock on the brink of extinction. They cackle after one of them says, "Somos como las urracas." We are like the crows, implying we are the only ones who consider our children beautiful. When my mother was a child, her mother had a small bird called Mosaico. Beautiful, she says. He was blue and green with a red head. The Alinda's canary cages were white, wrought iron, painted white. She was the only one who never married. My mother and her comadres have always measured time by their children's comings and goings. One day, Mosaico flew away and never returned. My grandmother died before Pepe. I don't know if the orphan bird in the kumquat tree is really gray. The day is overcast. If Pepe was a canary, he should have been the first one to die. I would have known to get her out. I really want to thank you for listening and your beautiful energy, your generative community. And I'd like to close with the opening poem in the book, the title poem, "The Small Claim of Bones." What my body says is not a lie. It's not a lie, I tell you. It is not. It's nothing short of truth and nothing larger. My past lodges in my marrow. And if I wanted a transplant, there'd be no match. Other sorrows dwarf my petty traumas. Still, these bones are mine when they creak, when they moan, when they whine. There's only one thing I can claim. These bones are mine, I tell you, they are mine. And kind, to abandon no thing that makes this pulse no one but me. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear it one more time for Cindy Williams Gutierrez. That was great. Cindy will not be able to stay until the very end of the reading, but during the break, which we are about to go into now, she does have a book and a CD for sale, so please talk to her about that. And of course, there is food and drink available next door. We'll come back in about 15 minutes for more open mic poetry. Thanks for being with us tonight.